Good values are good values wherever you go in the world. The moment education became commercialized at the very highest point, something broke.
Because it's not every teacher that is particularly interested in the entirety of a child.
If you were shabbily trained, you provide shabby service and your output cannot be better.
It's not about writing, reading alone. It's about learning skills.
And we must change that. If we don't change that, we're done for.
True friendship, it lasts forever. True friendship, a gift we share together. No matter where you are, we're there together. Sharing moments, happiness is when we are together.
Maltina, share happiness.
Global examples of high moral values in education. Finland's education system is renowned for its emphasis on equality, inclusivity, and social responsibility. Students learn to respect diversity, challenge discrimination, and engage in community service. They focus on equity over excellence, and their holistic teaching approach aims to foster a sense of community and social responsibility in our students. Singapore's education system emphasizes discipline, hard work, and respect for authority. Students learn to take responsibility for their actions, persevere through challenges, and value teamwork. They prioritize character development, instilling values like respect, responsibility, and resilience in their students. Canada's education system celebrates diversity, promotes tolerance, and advocates for social justice. Students learn to embrace differences, question biases, and become active citizens. They emphasize social responsibility, equity, and inclusivity. These countries demonstrate that education can be a powerful tool for instilling high moral values. By adopting similar approaches, educators worldwide can cultivate virtue in the classroom and shape a brighter future for all.
Countries that have done so well, Finland, most of the Scandinavian countries have a way in which they get education to the table much better than we're doing.
We don't say it enough, but we should remind people all the time that one of the most prestigious things to be in Finland is a teacher. First of all, they're very well paid anyway. Secondly, they are major community leaders, and they've shaped a country that is small, ordinarily would not have been competitive in global scheme of things. But because of their educational system and the way they've treated teachers, innovation has been a huge thing for Finland, and it has put them on the world map.
In Finland, when even a medical doctor goes to say they needed more salary, and the Prime Minister asks, how do I pay you higher than the person that taught you? That is where education is valued.
It is not an accident that America says think what you can do for your country and not what you can get from your country. It's not an accident. Americans believe in their country. Nigeria may have a lot of challenges. Sometimes you hear young people say there is no job, there is no light, we are not getting what we need, there's insecurity.
Whatever concerns education must come first. Those who are in school must be given the best of condition to be able to learn.
But is there any nation really that is like Nigeria? Across the world, we're some of the most brilliant people, but we should deploy it in value. We shouldn't deploy it in 419. We shouldn't deploy it in cheating. Cheating in an exam does not make you smart. It makes you really foolish.
In Hausa, we have a proverb. The ear, no matter how tall it is, cannot be taller than the head. And if you find that one, it is from the donkey. And what is the donkey? A fool.
At some point, what you cheated with will be tested and you will fail it. Being a thief in 1923 is the same thing as being a thief in 2024. Kindness in 1923 is the same thing as kindness in 2024. Cheating in 1923 is the same thing. Being honest in whatever you do in life is important because when young people say they are the leaders of tomorrow, we hold them accountable. It's okay for them to hold older people accountable, but they should not shy away from being held accountable. Accountability is accountability. Everybody must do the right thing. And in doing the right thing, you must think about your nation first. Good values are good values wherever you go in the world.
I think that we can learn plenty from that about the value of education. When I was in the university here in Nigeria 50-something years ago, the greatest thing that can happen to you as an undergraduate is that your department wants to retain you as a junior fellow to develop you on the line of being a university teacher.
Where you are trained determines the quality of training you receive and determine the quality of output we expect from you. If you were shabbily trained, you provide shabby service. If you are shabbily trained, you provide shabby relationship and your output cannot be better.
I think the private sector has joined the public sector in providing education. I went to school mostly in government schools, and I know that there were values that we were given. The moment education became commercialized at the very highest point, something broke. And some people are in the business of education not because they have passion for education, but because it's a business.
A few years ago, I was invited to give a talk at the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture in Umodike, near Umuahia. And the chairman of education was the vice chancellor of the university. And I talked about values and all of those things. The vice chancellor says, well, it's all well and good for you to say that, but let me give you an example of what happened to us last year. So one of our best graduating students, we offered to retain him in that tradition of the junior fellow. And the guy kind of thought something was wrong with us. How would he stay in the university here? And he promptly became PA to the local government chairman. That was what he chose.
Now you ask, how do you pay a member of State House of Assembly, not to talk of national law, higher than the teacher that taught him? That is where education is valued. So if we must value education, it must be taken holistically.
In 2015, a beacon of hope emerged when the Maltina Teacher of the Year initiative was born. It didn't just provide recognition for our teachers, it also transformed their teaching experiences. And after nearly 10 years, impacting over 300 participating teachers and transforming hundreds of schools, 241 teachers and 9 schools have been rewarded with over 500 million naira in cash and non-cash prizes. With its impact transcending borders, award-winning Nigerian teachers are now being recognized internationally, showcasing the talent and dedication of educators from Nigeria. This initiative is a brainchild of the Nigerian Brewers Felix Ohiwere Education Trust Fund and proudly endorsed by the Federal Ministry of Education. This edition is supported by Union Bank, Woodhall Capital Foundation, Airpeace, and Alert Group. Maltina Teacher of the Year, a decade of inspiring excellence in teaching.
The team agenda of Lagos State on education and technology is not just a theory that comes overnight. It's about what was a deliberate act from our visionary governor who wants anything about education to be workable and efficient and effective. That is a value we have come to know, to be proud of. Adeola Adefemi emerged as the best teacher in Lagos State in Nigeria. We are very proud of her. She's our ambassador. She has demonstrated that across board by going to various places in the world and by nurturing other teachers.
I grew up in a family of educators. My father was an educator. My mother is a retired teacher. My grandmother is a retired teacher. So the assumption then was everybody knew what they were doing and they knew how to do it or how to act. But I wasn't really still very comfortable with the knowledge of being a teacher because, like I said, I come from a family of teachers and I wasn't encouraged what they were getting at that time as salary. I told myself that I could do better. So I went straight into broadcasting when I was done with my National Youth Service Corps. But as luck would have it, on my return to Lagos, the then administration, that's Governor Babatunde's fasciolized administration, there was this project he started to compare people without education and people with education for core subjects. And some of us were selected. We started off as like 8,000 and then we're trickled down to like 353. That was the project 353 in July 2023. And that was when I started teaching.
In all totality, we are there to do justice, to provide the basic educational requirement for people, access to education in Lagos State, primary, junior secondary, and senior secondary, even including tertiary education.
I told myself if I eventually venture into education, to be the teacher I needed as a child. I felt that was a place I could express myself without being judged. And then I was deployed to a school and I saw faces like mine. I saw people like me. I saw kids like me in the school. And I told myself, maybe there's a reason to be here. For every time I got into the classroom, I saw faces like mine and you hear people saying, oh, you don't have to do too much. This is government work. But I didn't start off thinking I wanted to win anything. I just wanted to correct the wrongs that I felt were meted against me. I felt for every child in my class, it was like me going back to my childhood, trying to correct the wrongs that they meted against me. And that was why in 2013, when I started this job, I told myself I'll be different. Not because I wanted to get anything, I'll just be different. I'll just be that person my student needed the way I needed someone. I started in Summary Comprehensive High School. I started with students that people would call the then repeaters. These were kids, some of them repeating, some of them failing, like maybe 2 classes, and teachers would tell you, oh, leave them. They don't stress, that was the word, don't stress yourself. Or this one's, why would you want to take someone like this for a competition? So I thought to myself then, I think as a child, I knew my creativity was my strong point. And I've come to discover that Nigerian students are very creative, much more than brilliant or intelligent. I feel that was when I understood how to navigate education. I realized that it's not about telling people to change, it's about showing them how to change. It's about giving them examples. It's about being that change you actually want them to see. And it's about getting them involved. And that was what has really helped me, or that's the notion, or that's the trajectory that changed everything. from training them, from making them feel like they're not just people in uniform, but real people with demands, with pains, and with real stories like mine. And that was how I started. I started training students after school on everything creativity. Thankfully, I have like background in drama, in music, in poetry. So I would go to these kids' houses, get permission from their parents, stay in school Mondays through Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays. Like, I wasn't putting them in the spot of, oh, you are being compared. It was like an individual race, and the idea was you are in a race against your past. You're in a race against whatever it is that makes you scared. So you don't have to like necessarily win everything. You can learn from what you don't win. And that's how it started, from the creativity. And I mean, these were kids that failed. Some had left the school prior, feeling that, oh, they can't stay again, the embarrassment, the shame. I would go to their homes, I would go convince their parents. I was literally buying everything I could get for them to just enjoy school. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the very first competition we went for, these kids were eager because I told them one thing: if you win this, everything's gonna change. Like, it's not even about the school alone, your life will literally change. And the eagerness, they were ready to come to school, and not just come to school, stay in school, because the condition I gave them was, for you to go out with me for any competition, you must be ready to stay in school. I had a child then, it was almost a stammerer, and I had this clamor in school that you can't take someone that stammers for a competition. So that was what changed. I think that was where the dynamic changed. That was the child that changed everything. And I told them I had the same issue and people never believed in me. So why don't you just try this child? And we started. And the same boy the school condemned was the same boy that won and had to represent the country in the UK. And I think that was when people started listening to me. When you look at the caliber of competitions organized by the Lagos State government, I'm talking about the Lagos State Schools Debate, Lagos State Spelling Bee, Lagos State essay competition. So a child doesn't necessarily have to be the best in class, like alone. You can actually express yourself in creativity.
It's not about writing, reading alone. It's about learning skills through the means of WAPA and also word creation, and giving skills to youths, to students, and also doing more to leverage on the education governance when it comes to the Lagos State space in Nigerian territory.
And I realized that, okay, instead of me focusing on, just classrooms, I think this is what we're going to do. Because the same students that were not doing very well in their attendance or even in their classes started coming to school regularly. And that was, I think at that point, I started telling people about these competitions because they were there, but people were not interested. But then for the Lagos State government, they were not just giving the competitions, they were also encouraging the students with, sponsorships, scholarships, and these are things that will make you want to stay in school.
We are doing a lot in Lagos State, building more schools, rehabilitation of schools, employing teachers, building capacity training for teachers, and also looking into the interiors, the emerging communities where people are more or less moving to and where we need the presence of government to provide education. Take for instance the issue of EcoExcel, the issue of Rudicate, whereby we provide a tablet in which senior secondary students have that leverage to learn on their own with an app. Many people and many states are willing to learn from us. That shows what Lagos State represents.
If I'm going to say a thank you, would have to go to the Lagos State government, because I've been to other states, I've gone to train teachers, I've gone to talk with teachers, and I can tell you as a matter of fact, it's different in Lagos. They tell us, oh, how come you have all these competitions? It's because we have a supportive government. And I think education and technology is one of the themes agenda of Lagos State. This is something they prioritize. And it's important if you look at what you get in other states. And that's why you see a lot of influx of students from different states coming to Lagos State.
True friendship, it lasts forever. True friendship, a gift we share together. No matter where you are, we're there together. Sharing moments, happiness is when we are together. Eh, ah. Eh, ah. Eh, ah. We are together.
Maltina, share happiness.
By the time I started teaching, I heard a lot of, you're doing too much. I heard a lot of, oh, governor's child. That, or Lagos State's child. They have this, oh, why are you spending so much on something that doesn't belong to you? Why are you doing so much? You think the governor is going to notice you? You think anybody cares about you? You're just stressing yourself. Meeting Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu was a fulfilling experience.
The teacher. Yes. You won before. And let's just keep this cup here.
For me, it was more like a reward beyond the physical reward. It was like after everything, this is it. Like,
she's our ambassador at all fronts. She has won the Lagos State Best Teachers Award, in which our own amiable governor has equally compensated her with the required merit award, giving her accolades and also basic merit awards that she has won, cash-wise, cars, and also accommodation from Lagos State.
every time I went to the class after the experience, I hear, how did you do it? So everything you've been doing, telling us to do, this is what it results to, or like the inspiration is not just for myself, or the motivation didn't just come from myself and teachers, but also my students. And finally, of course, I got a house from him, something that I've been looking and chasing for a long time. So I got a 3-bedroom apartment from the Lagos State government during that visit. So I want to say a very big thank you to Nigerian Brewers. If that opportunity had not presented itself, I wouldn't have gotten the house, I wouldn't have gotten the recognition. Now I can go anywhere. People saw me on this page. I was posted on the page of the governor, on Lagos State's government's page, on Twitter, on all social media platforms. And I get people seeing me on the road and telling me, oh, you're the one who saw with the governor, you're a teacher. I think that's the most fulfilling, or the biggest thank you I've gotten ever since I started this job.
One of the things that we can do, obviously, is the prestige of the teacher. The more prestigious teaching is, the greater the society tends to be.
If education gets what it deserves, Nigeria would really be ranking where it should be amongst the Committee of Nations.
It's about priority. We can only value education by showing that we give it a priority. In funding, priority in the quality and quantity of teachers that will teach, priority in infrastructure and instructional material that will be provided so that everybody would have quality education.